Welcome to the Explainer. Look, if you're a procurement pro, a brand owner, or a wholesale buyer in the jewelry space, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The ground is literally shifting under our feet. The sourcing strategies that worked like a charm 5 years ago, yeah, they're actively bleeding your margins today. Sourcing from China has totally transformed for 2026. So today we're diving straight into the ultimate blueprint you need to actually evaluate manufacturing clusters, upgrade your supplier roster, and most importantly, protect those precious brand margins. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this with a really honest question. Are you still sourcing based purely on the lowest price? Because, look, if you're just typing gold necklace into a generic supplier directory and sorting by the cheapest option, you're walking straight into a trap. In 2026, finding the lowest cost per unit isn't a competitive advantage anymore. It's a massive liability.
Think about it. Chasing rock-bottom prices and just ignoring exactly where and how a product is made, that's an outdated race to the bottom. I mean, it leads directly to tarnished products, furious customers, and totally ruined brand equity. The 2026 reality is all about navigating highly specialized manufacturing clusters. It's about precision matching, literally aligning your specific quality, compliance, and material needs to the exact region and factory that specializes in your exact product. That is the secret to protecting those margins.
So, to make sure we're maximizing our time in this explainer, here's our blueprint. First, we'll hit the 2026 sourcing reality, then decode cluster logic, and explore the elite selection matrix. After that, we'll profile the top manufacturers, break down a professional vetting framework, and wrap up with realistic lead times and logistics. Let's do this.
Section 1. The 2026 Sourcing Reality.
So, the absolute biggest shift you, as a buyer, need to wrap your head around is that the Chinese jewelry industry is not a monolith anymore. It's really matured into this deeply fragmented, highly specialized ecosystem where technical capability is what actually defines a supplier's true value, not just cost. We're talking about precision here. Do they have the actual tech for high-grade PVD plating? Can they guarantee ethical gemstone traceability? Because whether your brand needs high-end 18-karat gold OEM, or maybe you're an e-com seller absolutely crushing the waterproof stainless steel trend right now, matching your requirements to a factory's specific tech capability is critical. Cost is totally secondary to capability now.
Moving on to Section 2. Decoding Cluster Logic.
So, the crucial point here is this concept of cluster logic. What is it? It's the strategic reality that the exact geographical location where your product is made completely dictates its quality, its specialization, and whether it's actually viable for your brand tier. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't go to an apple orchard looking for oranges, right? Same thing here. You do not go to a fast fashion cluster expecting fine bridal jewelry. Understanding this geographic destiny is absolutely key to plugging up those margin leaks.
Let's take a super quick geographic tour of the 4 main hubs you absolutely must know. First up is Guangzhou, specifically the Panyu district. This is the global heavyweight champion for high-end OEM, fine jewelry, and 925 silver. If you need intricate, flawless settings, Panyu is your spot. Next is Wuzhou. This is the world capital for synthetic gems, completely dominating the lab-grown diamond and moissanite supply chains. Then we've got Dongguan. Now, Dongguan literally birthed the massive waterproof jewelry trend, so they are absolute masters of 316L stainless steel and titanium. And finally, Yiwu. This is the undisputed kingdom of fast fashion and high-volume brass and alloy. Knowing the difference between these 4 hubs will completely change how you search for manufacturing partners.
Section 3. The elite selection matrix.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is that in 2026, your job as a wholesale buyer isn't just to find a generic, good supplier. It's to find the right supplier that slots perfectly into your exact business model. This matrix perfectly aligns specific supplier capabilities with exact buyer profiles. For example, you've got Zuping in Guangzhou for massive bulk wholesale of copper alloy, Starsgam over in Wuzhou for lab diamonds, which is absolutely perfect for bridal, KGK Jewelry in Panyu for luxury OEM fine metals. Then down in Dongguan, Hanhou and Nini are the go-tos for high-performance trendy stainless steel. XU&U and Wuzhou tackles high-volume silver, Forever Star and Panyu is for your gemstone-forward brands, and Ibo in Yiwu handles premium fast fashion export. It's like a giant puzzle, and this matrix shows you exactly where the pieces fit.
Which brings us to Section 4, Profiling Top Manufacturers.
Let's start by looking closer at Dongguan's waterproof specialists, specifically Hanhou Jewelry and Nini Jewelry.
If you're building a modern DTC brand, or maybe a private label that leans heavily into durability and sweat-proof marketing, these OEM partners are your absolute ideal match. They totally excel in 316L stainless steel and use high-precision physical vapor deposition, PVD plating. Hanho is phenomenal for men's and performance jewelry, while Nini is incredibly agile and highly responsive to those rapid, minimalist trends you see blowing up on Instagram and TikTok.
Next up, the fine jewelry and gem elite, which are mostly clustered in Panyu and Wushu. These guys are the heavyweights. KGK Jewelry, for instance, is a massive global multinational. They're RJC compliant, that's Responsible Jewelry Council, which makes them the absolute go-to for established luxury retail chains that have really strict corporate compliance needs. On the flip side, Stars Gem has morphed into a full-service fine jewelry manufacturer. They offer IGI and GIA certified lab-grown diamonds, so they are perfect for bridal brands. Forever Star crushes it with complete OEM services for gemstone-forward brands, handling everything from stone cutting to full 3D CAD. And Xingyu, they bring massive scale to synthetic gems and 925 silver, giving mid-market retailers the ability to hit really aggressive price points.
And of course, we cannot forget the high-volume kings, Zhuping in Guangzhou and Yibo Jewelry in Yu. These partners are built for global fast fashion retailers and massive regional distributors. Basically, the kind of buyers who prioritize volume, super aggressive pricing, and blazing fast inventory turnover way more than design exclusivity. Zhuping has this incredible, massive, ready-to-ship inventory of copper-based imitation jewelry. And Yibo, they basically bridge the gap between Yu's famously low costs and the much stricter quality requirements of the West. They offer export-grade brass with vastly better material safety than what you'd find at a standard market stall.
Let's move to Section 5 and see how this all builds into the professional vetting framework.
Because honestly, knowing the suppliers is only half the battle. The actual operational execution, the vetting, that is where you secure those margins. Experienced buyers know a slick-looking website means absolutely nothing. You need a rigorous workflow. Step 1, verify those plating specs. It is a really dangerous habit to just accept vague, gold-plated claims. In 2026, you need to demand a minimum of 0.5 microns for silver or 2.5 microns for vermeil. For stainless steel, make sure you verify they're using ion plating. Step 2, check material compliance. Demand independent lab reports from places like SGS or Intertek for every single batch. And Step 3, test their engineering speed. A truly professional OEM partner should easily be able to turn around a 3D CAD prototype within 72 hours.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact standard we're talking about, less than 0.01%. That is the strict, totally non-negotiable limit for lead and cadmium content. You guys know jewelry is a high-risk category. If you want to legally sell in the US or the EU, reaching CPSI compliance is not optional, it's table stakes. You also have to verify nickel release limits, or you're going to have a nightmare with skin sensitivity complaints. If your supplier cannot hand over independent testing proving they meet these limits, just walk away. Seriously, immediately.
Now, here is a pro sourcing tip that absolutely separates the amateurs from the veterans. Always, and I mean always, request a raw casting sample first, meaning completely unplated. Why? Well, heavy gold plating is basically magic when it comes to masking terrible mold quality, porosity, or really sloppy stone settings. It's literally like slapping an expensive coat of paint over a crumbling, rotten wall. By inspecting that raw casting first, you completely protect yourself from costly manufacturing cover-ups down the road. It's a game changer.
Finally, Section 6, lead times and logistics. Setting realistic operational expectations is absolutely critical for managing your cash flow, because at the end of the day, your inventory cycle dictates your profitability, right? Now, if you're working with stock-heavy suppliers like Zhuping for that fast fashion turnover, you can expect blisteringly fast lead times. We're talking 3 to 7 days. But if you're developing custom OEM pieces down in Panyu or Dongguan, you absolutely must factor in 25 to 40 days. That'll depend on the complexity of your CAD designs and your specific stone sourcing. You've got to accurately plan these timelines so you never ever stock out of your best sellers.
Which brings us to the ultimate question you have to ask yourself right now. Does your current supply chain actually measure up to these 2026 cluster standards? Are you leveraging geographic hubs, demanding precise plating specs, and partnering with verified factories? Or are you leaving massive brand margins on the table by clinging to outdated sourcing methods? Take this blueprint, audit your current suppliers, and go build a supply chain that actually works for your bottom line. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy sourcing.